Well. The day is here. The deed is done. And the big bad bullies are back on the block. Bryce up, son. Bryce up.
I'm from the foe. You dig?
Welcome to The Way I See It with Jamario Rashad. This is a Carolina Panthers fan channel. Please do me a favor by hitting the like button and please make sure you subscribe as I have tons, and I mean tons, of fire content on the way. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the news. I'm sure that everybody watching this video is watching it for a reason. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the news, you've been watching the draft, and you are aware that my Carolina Panthers have drafted Bryce Young first overall to be our new franchise QB. Now, first of all, before I even get out here and just show how elated I am, I'm going to first address the haters. Even the internal haters, the outside haters, the people from the other teams. But first of all, I'm going to address the people on the team, the Stroud truthers, the people still bitching about this pick. Let me go ahead and tell you, from the beginning, this entire staff was assembled with the thought process that we needed a quarterback that could use his brain. Processing was key. It had nothing to do with any freaking skill set beside being able to process and execute. We do not need you to run fast. We do not need you to have a cannon for an arm. Who did we go out and hire for our head coach? Frank Reich. Who did he go out and hire as a senior assistant? Jim Caldwell. Who do they have in common? Peyton Manning, the guy known as a NFL processing supercomputer. Okay, keep that in mind. Who is our offensive coordinator? Thomas Brown. Where does he come from? The LA Rams. Well, who's their coach? Sean McVay, the young wonder boy, Mr. Mind himself. Guess what? Thomas Brown referred to Bryce Young as at his pro day. He said, you know what we're going to call him? We're going to call him the brain. Because of how well he processes. Not because of how fast he runs. We don't need to call him the arm. We don't need to call him the muscle. He called him the brain because that is what we value. So moving on from that, what do we do? Who is our QB coach? We have Josh McCown, a dude that played for damn near half the entire NFL, has soaked in knowledge from just about all of the offensive coordinating staffs over the last decade and a half in the NFL. He has learned bits and pieces from each of them. Then we have the guy all the way up at the top, Scott Fitterer. What has he consistently done throughout this entire process? He has defended this entire size narrative that everybody wants to keep going on, as he was one of the people in the administrative office in Seattle during their time where they drafted Russell Wilson, who, guess what, was also undersized. And guess what he did? Won a Super Bowl, was one play away from winning another one, despite what you have to say about him. So from the beginning, we have indicated, everybody within this team has indicated that we need somebody that is going to be able to run the offense. We don't need somebody that is going to just be able to run. We don't need somebody that can throw the ball a country mile. Nobody ever said no dumb shit like that. We said we need somebody that is going to be able to come in, pick up the offense quickly, make quick decisions, and get the ball to the receivers, make the right reads, RPOs, whatever is required. We need somebody that will make the right decision, and that is what we are getting out of Bryce Young, despite what anybody else wants to say about his height. Call him a troll, call him a gnome, call him an ant, call him too small. Just call him the quarterback of the goddamn Panthers is what you're going to refer to him as now. So now that I got that out of the way, for anybody that does not know just how dominant this little man is, let's go ahead and let's discuss this, shall we? Now, when we got this guy, Bryce Young, what did he do? Why is he so dominant? What did he do? Why is he going first overall? Well, if you did not know, he was the 2021 Heisman Trophy winner for Alabama, where he had an absolutely remarkable year. How remarkable do you ask? Well, it was this remarkable. He had 4,872 passing yards. He had a completion percentage of 66.9. He passed for 47 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. A 47 to 7 touchdown to interception ratio is just absolutely elite. That is damn near 7-1. It does not get any better than that. But he spent 2 years as a starter. Well, how did he do? He won 27 games, only losing 3, going 27-3 over his 2 years as a full-time starter, passing for a total of 8,356 yards. And get this, he had a total of 87, count them the up, 87 touchdowns combined, all purpose, be it passing and rushing yards. And for anybody that wants to complain about, oh, he's short, he won't be able to see over over the line. His average yards per attempt was 8.9, which currently was 11th in the entire country. And I'm pretty sure there's a large laundry list of players or quarterbacks that are a lot taller than Bryce Young. So why weren't those guys passing for more yards on average per play than Bryce Young? I don't know. You don't know, because y'all just be making up shit. This guy was all that and a bag of chips, to take it old school. Bryce Young was the guy, and that is why he is on this team. But why did we need Bryce so bad? Anybody that had this first pick, anybody that needed a quarterback would have wanted Bryce Young's services. But we were one of those teams, and just how bad was it? If you did not know, in 2021, which was 2 years ago, the Carolina Panthers were 30th in passing yards per game. This most previous year, where we fielded multiple quarterbacks, I believe 4 in total, as Jacob Eason did get in for a few plays. We fielded 4 quarterbacks, and in total, we had the 28th most passing yards in the entire NFL. Bryce Young will come in and change that immediately. Let's compare him to the guys that took the most snaps behind center for us last year. We have Sam Darnold, a guy who was 33rd of 34 potential quarterbacks that started in 6 or more games in terms of completion percentage. He was 33rd. That is one away from damn dead last with 58.6. Who was the other guy that started the season for us? Who else did we get there? Oh, Baker La Basura Mayfield, his trash ass. How good was he? He passed for the 32nd worst in the league at only 60%. Bryce Young is naturally better than that. And if you project what he had done or what he has done in college into the NFL currently, that would make him a top 10 quarterback right now in terms of completion percentage. Anybody would take that on any team, any day, any planet, any league, any country. Anybody would want Bryce Young. So it is not up to me to continue to defend why we did this, but rather I am just bragging on how good our guy is. Bryce Young is a Carolina Panther, and it ain't shit y'all could do about it. So yeah, man, like I said, you could just look at this list and just look how dominant he would be, or just how superior he would be compared to those that pretty much a lot of people consider elite. Look at who's down at the bottom of the list. You got Josh Allen. He would have been above Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa. He has Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, who was in the Super Bowl, and he is only 2 ticks behind who many consider to be the greatest of all time, and Patrick Mahomes. And this is a guy that many people are calling a mini Mahomes, or if they're making the basketball comparison, a Steph Curry out there on the field. So what else really needs to be said about Bryce Young? He is the guy, and it is what it is, man. But another question that needs to be asked now is, where exactly does he rank? So let's just keep it within the division. Now, I'm not even going to take too much time with this. He's absolutely first. He's the best quarterback in the division. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Go argue with your mama. You can be a Bucks fan, Saints fan, Falcons fan. I don't want to hear shit about shit. If you right now would trade your guy, if you had the opportunity to trade your quarterback for the first overall pick, for the opportunity to draft Bryce Young, shut the up, because I don't want to hear nothing. Oh, he's better. But would you give him up for Bryce Young right now? Yes. So shut up. Argue with your mama. As I said, Bryce Young is currently the best quarterback in the NFC South. Ain't nobody worried about Mr. Preacher. Ain't nobody worried about Captain Bat Down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you need to go back and watch his Panthers tape last year. That guy looked like a miniature doggone little action figure out there on the field trying to throw a full-size freaking football over a defensive line. He was absolutely terrible. And then we have the last guy down there, like pretty much, if I don't even tell you this guy's name, I'm not even sure how many people in this video even know who this guy is. I just look at him. I'm pretty sure you all are thinking like, I would ask the same question. Well, that is Desmond Ridder, some guy that the Atlanta Falcons have playing for right now. So I'm pretty sure nobody within their right mind would argue that this old World War II fighter pilot looking motherfucker is better than Bryce Young in any way, shape, or form. So we could just move on from that, because again, Nobody knows and nobody cares, so nobody thinks he's better. Bryce Young is currently the best quarterback in the NFC South. But okay, that's how he ranks amongst the current division. But where does this guy rank, or where does our new quarterback rank in terms of prospects in Carolina Panthers history? In my opinion, Bryce Young is either a top 2 or 3 prospect entering the NFL, depending on how you as a person view Julius Peppers. Undoubtedly, Cam Newton to this day is still pretty much the best quarterback prospect ever. Like it does, like he's the best to ever come out intangible wise, accomplishment wise. Like he was, like, I'm not putting him over Cam, but Bryce Young is just different in a completely different manner. When you look at Pep and when you look at Cam, these two guys were just so freakishly imposing with their physicality, and that is what made them special as a player. We have Bryce Young, who is all the way on the other side of that spectrum, that plays with his mind, with a much slighter frame, but has been seen to be just as effective, winning a Heisman just like Cam Newton did, but unfortunately not winning a national championship. But still, Bryce Young, by nature of just being a quarterback, I'm pretty sure many people would say undoubtedly is the second best prospect the Carolina Panthers have ever had. He is the 10th top 10 pick we have had since the inception of our expansion franchise back in 1995. And I think we are hitting on a diamond with this one. This is only, I believe, the third time we've ever picked within the top 3. Only the second time we've ever had the first overall pick. We've went quarterback each of these times. And I believe as they are deserving of as he has been deserving of that first overall pick acknowledgement, Bryce Young is definitely the second best prospect that the Carolina Panthers have ever had the pleasure of drafting. That is not projecting his career. That's not saying how good he's going to be. We're talking about in terms of prospects coming out of college. Yeah, he's definitely up there, definitely top 2 or 3, like I said, depending on how you see Pep, man. But what exactly does all of this mean? What do I get from this? What are my overall conclusions from night 1 of draft night, drafting the future of my Carolina Panthers franchise? Bryce up, son. You know what I'm saying? What does all of this mean, man? Well, first of all, as I said, we have the best quarterback in the division, so of course that means that we will in fact be winning the division and making it to the playoffs next year. I don't care what anybody has to say, it's gonna happen. Bryce Young is the best QB. We have had the best offseason. We are going to like I said, we have the best coaching staff. We are going to win the division, and we are going to have a rookie making the playoffs, similar to that Prescott Ezekiel Elliott season back in 2016, except we are going to win our playoff game when we get there, man. And potentially next this coming into it was a very important offseason, but once we made that trade to go up to the first overall pick, it immediately became one of the most, if not the most important offseasons in Carolina Panthers history. And I can say with utter confidence that Scott Fitterer, David Tepper, and everybody in charge has absolutely nailed it so far. They traded what many people were saying was too much. We got fleeced to go up to the first overall pick. You traded the only person you had that was going to be able to catch passes. Since then, we've signed 2 wide receivers as well as a number 1 tight end to supplement and to overtake for whatever we lost. And we were able to pick up our franchise quarterback, and we have a pick in each of the first 5 rounds. Miss me with that bull, man. The Panthers absolutely blanked this offseason, so shout out to them, man. But now one of my my final thought is, outside of the divisional games that usually in the end decide who goes to the playoffs, there are 2 games on the schedule this year that haven't exactly been announced with their dates, but the opponents have been announced, and we will be playing the Chicago Bears and we will be playing the Houston Texans. Why are both of those games so intriguing to me? Well, first of all, the Chicago Bears were the ones that elected not to trade away Justin Fields to go out and to actually trade to draft Bryce Young and to build their team, potentially get extra draft capital for the guy that they already had in place. They decided to put their confidence within him, essentially passing on Bryce Young to keep their guy. So we will be playing the Bears, and we also traded away DJ Moore, as I mentioned, what many people believe to be our only receiving option. How will the Panthers do without him? They gave up the only. This game will answer so many questions and either kill or extend so many narratives that have been put out there so far about that transaction for the Carolina Panthers to get that first overall pick, that I cannot wait to see that game. And then finally, man, we have the Houston Texans, who are also on our schedule this year. It has not been announced exactly which day it will be, but if you do not know, it was always 50-50 from the beginning, man. Half of the Carolina Panthers fan base wanted CJ Stroud, and the other half wanted Bryce Young. I will say that was about a month before the end of this process. By the end, from what I could see, like online, whether it be like Twitter, Facebook, anywhere that I like thought or just asking around, it seemed to be more about 80-20. Most people had gotten on the Bryce Young train, but still at the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers elected to draft Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, who many believed was the superior quarterback. Whether they're right or not is still yet to be seen. But the Houston Texans selected him the very next pick, second overall, right after Bryce Young, and we will be playing them on the schedule this year. The Houston Texans blank. They got the second and third pick, but I still don't give a damn. It's still cardiac cats or nothing. But with that being said, man, what do you all think about us drafting Bryce Young, man? You all let me know your thoughts on this entire thing. I am hyped. This was the guy that I've wanted, man. I was on the Stroud thing. I was on Stroud after the combine, man. But once I really looked into Bryce, man, Bryce is a absolute freaking baller, man. And I am super excited, man. So you all leave your comments down below on draft night. How do you feel about it so far, man? But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I am Jamario Rashad. This is The Way I See It, and I'm out. Peace.